One of the most famous phrases in government intelligence and military circles is need to know, usually referred to as a level of security clearance. In this new series that we've titled Your Need to Know, I will deliver past official documentation produced by various international governments on the UFO phenomenon. With the current increased interest in UFOs, much of the population has become familiar with many of the stories of crashes and sightings throughout the world in the past 70 years. What most are not aware of or have forgotten is the large amount of official government documentation about events and occurrences in this field. In my 35-year career as a UFO journalist and researcher, I have not only been made aware of documents, but have also been involved in writing some, as well as attending the famous United Nations hearings on this issue. The first in our series will be the UFO briefing document, The Best Available Evidence, which is part of the so-called Rockefeller UFO initiative. I had the opportunity to work on this project in the mid-90s, which was funded completely by Laurence Rockefeller. This document was intended to educate higher government officials and VIPs of what occurred up to that date, and what government officials stated about the phenomenon in hopes of bringing about objective disclosure. It contains a complete case history report of major UFO events that happened worldwide from the 1940s to the 1990s. The report concisely summarizes the main UFO cases from each witness's perspective, providing official testimonies and in some cases original photographs of the events. The report goes on to give a thorough analysis of the major U.S. government-funded studies that took place, starting with Project Sign, how it transformed into Project Grudge, and finally Project Blue Book. From there, it explores the congressional hearings held on the topic, which presented the government's conclusion of Blue Book and the Condon Committee. Given the global nature of this phenomenon, it was prudent to include major international agreements and resolutions on the topic. This includes an unidentified objects clause in the bilateral USA-USSR agreement to reduce the risk of nuclear war, how the country of Grenada lobbied to recognize the issue in the United Nations, and the European Parliament's report on the phenomenon. Further, it goes on to give more in-depth quoted testimony from prominent worldwide government and military officials, scientists, and astronauts. Some of the quotes include General Douglas MacArthur, who was quoted in the New York Times, quote, "Because of the developments of science, all the countries on Earth will have to unite to survive and to make a common front against attack by people from other planets. The politics of the future will be cosmic or interplanetary." President Harry Truman said at the time of his presidency, quote, "I can assure you that flying saucers, given that they exist, are not constructed by any power on Earth." Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill, who asked to be thoroughly briefed on the topic, said, quote, "What does all this stuff about flying saucers amount to? What can it mean? What is the truth?" The impact of the UFO briefing document was limited in political terms. More people were interested in the fact that Laurence Rockefeller had sponsored it than in the content inside. Internationally, though, France was an exception. This document led to the production of the French Comité report, which is arguably one of the most persuasive documents ever published regarding the UFO phenomenon. If you're interested in reading UFO briefing document, The Best Available Evidence, you can download a PDF from our website at openminds.tv. I will continue to bring you reports of major documents that exist in ufology. Up next will be the French Comité report.